Hi, I'm Jeff. If you're like me, you're probably wondering right now, how did he make that song, I Scratch Myself, all by himself? Well, I did it with these vocal cords, and this computer, and this program, Cakewalk. Pretty amazing. Let's walk through and see just how I did it. It all started with a couple of lines I thought of while driving in my car pestering MissB. When I got home, I wrote the song, which goes to the score of the Divinals' I Touch Myself. Okay, now I've got some words, but I need a great tune. I'm not much of a musician, I certainly don't have a band, so what to do? Well, obviously, you go to the internet and then shamelessly rip off somebody else's music. So I found a website that contained a link to the Divinals' I Touch Myself. Unfortunately, it's really kind of crappy. It drags on forever, has a lot of extra notes in it, and it's around 7 minutes long. Sounds familiar, right? You'll notice it's in a slightly different key than I Scratch Myself. More of that in a moment. Using Cakewalk, I started tightening up the MIDI file that I had downloaded. Of course, there's more to it than simply chopping sections of the song out. That would create jarring transitions or tempo beats changes completely unexpectedly. So I actually wound up writing completely new sections of the song, something I'd never done before, using Cakewalk's built-in piano keyboard and sequencer. Okay, I've got the soundtrack at least started, but I'm missing the most important element. A great singer with a great voice, and hopefully someone who sounds at least passingly similar to the original Divinal singer, Chrissy M. Fett, and what an imposing-looking woman she is. You would think that the first obvious choice would be just for me to do it myself. The problem, however, is that you probably haven't noticed this, but I have this annoying nasally voice that drives everybody crazy. But then I realized, the lead singer of the Divinals also has an annoying nasally voice, something that we have in common. Armed with this idea, I decided to see if I could also become an international pop diva. I tried recording my own voice in the same register as the MIDI. I lie on the couch, my eyes feeling I'll admit that's pretty awful. But interestingly, Cakewalk has the ability to do what's called transposition. It can move both MIDI tracks and audio tracks up or down. So I tried sliding it up and down to see what would happen. Mostly up, since I was trying to impersonate a female vocalist. Initially, I tried transposing the entire song 6, 7, 8 steps up. That's about 3.5 white keys on the piano keyboard. And it did work, although it sounded kind of odd. Alright, so that's not terrific either. But the sound is getting there. So I thought, maybe if I sang in a higher register to begin with, and the computer wouldn't have to transpose quite so much. I lie on the couch, my eyes feeling hazy. Now when I transpose it further up, I come out with the same song key, but my voice isn't as distorted. Pretty nifty, huh? Transpositioning a clip, even a small amount, introduces unexpected and undesired artifacts such as pops and glitches. I used the expand feature in Cakewalk to be able to blow up the individual sounds and isolate these glitches and clicks, which, as you can see on the screen, is represented by a vertical line. I was able to chop those out, and as you can see on the next audio bar to the right, you can see where there are gaps where I have completely removed the soundtrack. This is only noticeable if you were to isolate the soundtrack and listen to it by itself. You'd notice that the background static momentarily disappears. Okay, I'm making progress. I still have one more problem. There's no hiding the fact that this was recorded using a $3 Radio Shack microphone. How to make this sound like it came out of an actual studio? Well, I tried all different special effects that I have available to myself within Cakewalk. That's an echo effect. I finally found an effect that made it sound as though it was being recorded on a professional microphone on a studio stage or sound set. Now that the song is recorded, all that remains is to export it into a Windows format so that I can import it into a video editing program. And here is the actual soundtrack used in I Scratch Myself.
I lie on the couch, my eyes feeling hazy. I could do it myself, but I'm feeling lazy.
Now that you've had an opportunity to see how it was done, I imagine it's not all that unbelievable that the voice in I Scratch Myself is in fact mine. And here's what it sounds like when it's all put together.
I lie on the couch, my eyes feeling hazy. I could do it myself.
Now the biggest single trick of this entire project involved getting MissB to sing the lyrics to the song without A, knowing the lyrics to the song, and B, knowing that there was a song at all. The way I did this was I devised phonetically similar lyrics for her to sing. So, for example, I Can Scratch Anywhere Else became Ya Gun Trash, Underwear Yells. Now, if you mouth those two different sentences, you'll see that the motions made by your lips are actually quite similar. Now I needed my video and my photographs. The trick was this was supposed to be a present. So how to get the photographs without giving away the nature of what exactly I was doing? Well, the short answer is it's just plain impossible, especially when you're dealing with someone as crafty and intelligent as MissB. Nonetheless, I did take the extraordinary measure of not having a written storyboard or plot. Instead, I had it all in my mind and just basically made it up randomly and then rearranged the items later on to keep her off the track. I also had to keep MissB from guessing what the underlying tune was in order to keep her as much in the dark as possible. This led to some rather interesting experiences when doing shooting, because getting the phonetically similar sounds to also line up in exact cadence was really just a matter of coincidence, which meant we shot the same scenes and the same lyrics over and over and over again until by sheer coincidence we just happened to come up with one that matched. This was further complicated by the fact that MissB was told to memorize these supposed lyrics, such as pot pie arbor pack ocken trash pie shelf, but she didn't really memorize them, so they all had to be written down on paper and posted on the wall, but she kept forgetting to look at the camera and instead would stare just at those. And that's why you really don't see MissB singing the lyrics very often in the song, only in a few places, because most of the time she was staring fixated at a piece of paper on the wall. Now that I had all the basic elements together, the photographs, the video, the audio, and the MIDI, I brought them all together and edited them in Video Studio version 6, using standard editing techniques. That entailed a lot of challenges. Getting the special effects right. Getting the on-screen fonts and text to do what I wanted it to. But by far, the biggest challenge was just getting any work done at all. Video Studio must be the buggiest program ever written. And many nights I had to save, exit, and reboot the computer after every single edit just to get anything done at all. Whoops! Here it goes, the hourglass indicating that yes, we've got a lockup. It took some doing, but I think the result was worth the effort. I hope you agree. And hey, I got an idea. Let's watch one more time I Scratch Myself, starring MissB. Thanks for watching.
Ha ha!